For the past 7 days, I've been building an AI inbox management app, and I've learned quite a lot from working on this app, and I wanted to share it with you, share some of the tools that I'm using, how I'm doing the evals to make sure that every change I make actually improves the app and doesn't make it worse, and also how I'm getting feedback from the app to ensure that I'm actually building something that people want. Okay, for context, I'm Tunde, and I'm currently doing a challenge where I'm building 12 startups in 12 months. The startup I made last month made $1,500, the month before that made $5, and the month before that made $4,500. So I'm hoping this month is finally the month where we break out. This month I'm working on an AI image management app. Right now I have 2 integrations, one for Gmail and one for Instagram. So after I connect to my Gmail and Instagram accounts, I can tap inbox triage, and the AI agent basically looks at every single email that I've had in the last, I guess in this case it's going to be in the last day, and also looks at my Instagram inbox, and it creates this digest for me, basically showing me things that I need to reply to, things that it will automatically archive for me, and also FYIs. So basically things that I need to know about, but I don't need to take an action on it right away. And for the things I need to respond to, if I type a response in, like a short response, and then tap draft, essentially the AI basically creates a draft for me for all those threads and then puts it in this draft page, and I can automatically just send it off. So I built this because I need this myself. I know Claude has all the Gmail integration and ChatGPT has the Gmail integration, but they don't actually work that great for me, and I haven't actually found a use case for it because it requires me to constantly try to explain to the model what I want it to do. So the first tool that I'm using to build this that's allowed me to build as quickly as I have is the Vercel AI SDK. I've been using this since it came out, and honestly, it's a game changer. Firstly, what's Vercel AI SDK? Essentially, this SDK allows you to write code once, and then it works for any model. Now, what do I mean by that? Essentially, if I was not using Vercel AI SDK, I would have to write my code with OpenAI SDK or with the Anthropic AI SDK if I wanted to use Claude. And the reason this is really annoying is that when it comes to experimenting with your app, you might first want to experiment with OpenAI, and maybe if it doesn't work really well, you might then want to use Claude or something else. And if you're not using Vercel AI SDK, you're gonna have to refactor your whole application to make it work for the new model that you're trying to use. So with this, I can essentially just change one line of code and it will work for anything. It works for Claude, it works for OpenAI, it works for Gemini, and I always use it in all my AI apps. The second reason this SDK is great is that it comes with UI for streaming. So most AI apps, the user sends a message and then you get a stream of messages back, and then you basically show the, I guess each token's being delivered. You can also show tool calls if the AI agent is going to use tool calls. Now, all this are things that I usually have to implement if I'm not using AI SDK. I'll have to implement the front end to get the tokens and present it in the way that you're used to seeing with other apps. Vercel AI SDK actually has front end libraries that I can use for this. So literally, to build this entire UI that you're seeing here, I literally just had to write a few lines of code and then connect it to the backend, which is where the agent is implemented. So this is amazing. The second tool I'm using to build this application very quickly is Braintrust.dev. So essentially, when you build an AI app, one of the hardest things to do, and I struggled with this in the past a lot, is making sure that your new changes actually makes the product better and it doesn't actually get worse. And this is really hard to do with AI. So for example, let's say you're building an AI video editor and you try it with one video and it works really well, but you try it with another video use case and it doesn't work so well. You can change your system prompt to make it work really well for the new video. But the question is, has doing that made it worse for the previous video you just did? So that's where it becomes really, really hard. And that's why you need evals when you're working on an AI app. So I'm using Braintrust for my eval. And the really cool thing about Braintrust is that it plugs into Vercel AI SDK. This is amazing because it essentially means I have to write less code. I literally just wrap my Vercel AI SDK with a code from Braintrust and it already starts doing some tracking of my models. The second benefit of using them is that they have a really cool eval process. So for example, this is the eval I've written in my application. I have the test data, and the test data in this case is basically just like a test email inbox and also Instagram inbox. And then I have what the expected output is. In this case, I basically want it to correctly categorize all the emails and inbox into the 3 different sections. And then I also have my LLM scorer that actually uses another model, in this case is GPT-4o, to look at the results from my model and then scores it based on different aspects. So what all this looks like is when I make a change to my model, I can run the eval And then Braintrust basically uses the training data that I have, passes it into my model, gets the response from my model, and then uses the LLM scorer to give it a score. And then I have this nice UI basically showing me if the changes that I've made has made it worse or has made it better. So this hands down has made it so easy for me to build without being scared that what I'm working on is actually ruining something that already worked really well. The final thing I'm doing while building this application is getting feedback. This is so important because what I've noticed is when I build an application without getting feedback from users, I usually end up just in a place where I'm going around, I'm basically fixing something and then changing my mind on it and then fixing it again and changing my mind on it. But with this product, I've been posting on my Instagram story every time I have a cool update to share. This is really cool because people actually reach back out to me to say, oh, this is cool, I would use this. And it essentially means that I'm relying not only on myself, but on other people to make sure that I'm actually working on something people will use. This is just a minor one, but I think it's really important to share, to just say when you're working on something, even if you just have 4 or 5 friends that you could keep sending the product to and getting their feedback, that would be a lot better than if you're just working on it by yourself. If you don't have anyone to get feedback from while you're building your app, just comment to me and I'll DM you so I can help you test your app. And that's it. This product is still work in progress. My plan is to finish it this weekend and then start getting beta testers for it next week.